Hey there, just going to do a quick little analysis and just kind of explain what I think is maybe, holding you back from hitting it a little bit further. So when you go to swing and hit this golf ball and you're ripping it out there 270, you must be doing some things right. I mean, to get it out there that far. But I would say first things first, I would probably try to preset a little bit of draw into that golf swing. I'd probably have a little bit of trail arm bend. I'd probably get the lead arm to be a little bit more out in front, just to kind of preset everything to be maybe a little bit more of a draw instead of like a pull cut. Kind of looks like what you're hitting. Maybe you're not, but it's kind of what I'm seeing. Here's the number one thing is, we can bypass some of this stuff here, but I'm going to get you up to almost the top. I'm going to zoom way in, and you've got a width problem, and width being how far away is the handle of the club from your chest. And from this video, you can't see a ton of that. Face on will give you some better indication of that. But from this angle, things are looking okay at this point, right? And as I click through this to the next couple frames, your wrists start to bend a little bit too much. Your trail elbow starts to kick outward. And when I say kick outward, it kind of starts to move in that direction. And your arms and hands get really, really close to the body or your trail shoulder. You can see some of that stuff just based on the fact that the shaft of the club and your right shoulder are almost touching at that point, right? So here's where it gets a little bit dicey is when you start to make that downswing, here's what you do. I'm going to click a couple frames forward. So you're going to start to rotate. And as you rotate, the hands are going to move outward. But as those hands move outward, this trail elbow moves backwards behind you. So you're creating this huge separation between the two arms here. And as you do that, the shaft is going to get steep, as you can see here. So the shaft is steep. It rides through your trail shoulder. I'd prefer it to be slightly lower than that, but you're a smart guy and you go, okay, I've got to figure out how to shallow it out. So what you're going to do is you're going to take those arms and those forearms and wrists, and you're just going to start to unload them downward, and you're going to roll them. And you're going to roll the shaft and your forearms in this direction to shallow it out. So you go from a steep shaft to a shallow shaft. So as the clubs move, or the hands are moving out this way, you're shallowing the shaft at a really rapid rate, but doing it in like really poor manner. And you actually are slightly underplaying at this point. So from here, what you're going to find is as you come into the golf ball, your club face is pointed out at the ocean. But your target, I would assume, is somewhere in this direction. And watch the next frame. So if we're pointed at the ocean in this frame, there's your target. So maybe we're talking a handful of degrees to the right, maybe 10, 15 degrees. One frame post-impact, that club face is pointed 90 degrees left to target. That's a really hard thing to try to time and coordinate every single time you play golf. It's just too much. There's too much stuff happening with the arms and wrists and forearms. And you can tell from right here, next couple frames, you've managed to take that trail arm and go from almost 90 degrees of bend to fully extended, and right elbow actually almost pointing back this way towards the ocean at that point. So there's a lot going on, but you need some extension. How are you going to create some extension? Let's take you back up to here. I have a feel that I like. I like to take my right hand, and at this point, I try to push my left thumb as far away from me as possible. This helps me feel like my right arm gets a little bit longer. Other feels are some people feel like the right arm just stays super duper long for as long as possible. That might restrict your wrist hinge a little bit, but it probably will increase your ability to hit fairways. And I think, something like a split grip drill where you're just practicing backswings, left hand at the normal spot on the club, right hand below the grip, making some split swings, basically just backswings, and feeling almost like a hockey player taking a slap shot. Just work on getting that trail arm to be longer in the backswing. It just can't get that narrow. There's some special players that can do it, but that's going to take a lot of golf balls, a lot of effort, and a lot of practice. So if you just want to do, hit balls better and maybe make it slightly easier, just create some more, width and extension, and just keep the hands as far away from you as humanly possible.